did I teach you?
Good. No canoe. No, you're hey, number one.
I can't hear you.
Peace, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Excellent. Excellent. I hope everybody's well. Thanks for coming through. Everybody that reached out. Any first timers that's coming in, I really appreciate the support. Indeed, man. I hope everybody's well as we go through another day in the apocalypse and all that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. Yeah, you already know how we do. Thank you guys for the support in the last couple of videos, as well as everybody that's been tuning into the membership. I'm striving to stay more consistent with that, put more specific things in there, as well as everybody that's been subscribing to the app. I really appreciate it. Keeping these subscriptions up, as well as supporting Selena as well, through CordobaOrganics.com. I definitely appreciate everybody consistently coming through and, just making sure you letting us know that the stuff we're doing and striving to do for everybody is definitely being out there. So definitely appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions or want to build on anything specifically before we get into, what we're gonna get into? So much going on, of course. Just want to make sure that everybody has any specific questions they have answered, if we can, inshallah. Yeah, it's funny. Kimya said it's funny how they trying to force in the draft on the Young Bucks. Yeah. I don't think that's gonna work though, especially with the Epstein class and their children not going. You think it was bad during the Vietnam era? It's definitely gonna be bad now because a lot of people not feeling them, and the discontent is starting to really get to somewhat of a fever pitch. Y'all heard about the whole warehouse that they burnt down the other day, right? An entire 3-4 city block warehouse. The employees was getting shafted by the man, and they just went. Somebody went and then taped it, put it on TikTok or whatever the show is, and was like, "Yeah, word." They think it's a joke. They think they ain't gonna pay us what we worth. Well, watch this. And they set off they started burning the toilet paper, and then the next thing you know, the entire warehouse, which again was like 5 city blocks, all gone. You know what I mean? So the insurance, you gotta understand, the insurance is basically what runs the corporations. No corporations can basically function without insurance because the insurance is what basically brings the underwriting in to help pay for the endeavors. God forbid something go wrong. So, you know, it's going to become a situation if people start catching on to this and decide that they not going to just stand for them, just not paying them and doing all the crazy shit they doing, and people start taking more actions like that upon themselves. They're not going to be able to pay for it. Insurance is not going to insure them if they don't start to pay their employees properly, because they're going to look at that. They're going to start looking at withholding of payment practices as a liability. So if you the corporation and you're not paying your employees, you're not going to be able to get insured pretty soon. Believe it or not, that's what's happening with the Strait of Hormuz. Like everybody talking about the Iranians, but all the insurance companies that basically pay and insure all the ships. Remember, the British Empire was the one that was in control of the Admiralty up until World War II. However, after World War II, even though they weren't in charge of the Admiralty jurisdiction anymore, they still got to be in charge. Downing Street still got to be in charge of all of the what do you call it? The insurance of all ships that were technically under Admiralty jurisdiction. So, with that being said, all of the stuff that's happening in Strait of Hormuz, the reason why a lot of the ships ain't being allowed to go in there because they can't get insurance. Not because of the bombs and not because of Iran. Iran is upping the price, basically saying if you got $2 million and you're not in conflict with us, then you can go through. However, they're also saying, well, if that's the case, even if you go through, you're gonna need insurance to do that, and it's a liability. You know what I'm saying? Hence, a risk for any company at this point or juncture to insure any ships going through there. So it's really the insurance companies holding everything up. You understand? So that's a problem. You know what I mean? They can't get underwriters no more to do that. So a lot of ships ain't being able to do that. So then what's happening outside of that is you have now people shifting away from Downing Street for insurance and going to other countries that have their own insurance policies and home admiralty insurance, such as Switzerland, such as the Netherlands. You understand? Who, by the way, have created a coalition that's now going into creating a task force or a fighting force to protect Greenland. So the Netherlands, Sweden, parts of Germany, Norway, they all getting together and they have a whole flotilla that's out there trying to protect Greenland from your boy Donnie T and the Small Hat. So it's not looking good either way around. The other problem with that is that they trying to might try to flip a draft situation, but the problem is a lot of these Gen Z kids, they not going. They are not going to follow through, and you cannot afford to send people who don't want to fight for you in a combat zone. That is a military no-no. Not to mention to the fact that a lot of these kids have mental issues already. You understand? Remember, you've been trying to effeminate men for the past 20 years through your whole DEI, ESG, anti, what do you call that? Toxic masculinity, all of this bullshit that you've been trying to conform on young men, which has disconnected these young men from actively being invested in the society. Now you want to get those same young men to now what go because you say they got to go fight somewhere, and you think they really going to do that? You really think that after you've been telling them that the red pill is horrible and they're not good and they need to follow behind women and they're basically degenerated females and they don't need men and men are not important and toxic masculinity is the reason why women need to be in charge and all of this bullshit. So now you're gonna flip all of that and now trying to draft these same niggas into an army that they know is basically there to protect pedophiles. That's what y'all going to do to protect not only pedophiles but pedivores, meaning people who only exist off of eating other people, specifically children. These are the people that you expect these kids to fight for. That's what you expect to happen. While at the same time you're trying to also diminish their only means of escapism, which is whatever the entertainment that was keeping them pacified up until now. You really think that's going to work? You really think people going to follow Peter Peckseth into some sort of quagmire when all of the 40, 50 plus years generals that have been in it, they keep running through because none of them want to follow this nigga's order because he's a psychopathic maniac, not to mention a sexual deviant. And they know that this is all to support uh, AI Satan Yahoo, who's dead, and they still acting like he's alive, as well as the fact that this has nothing to do with the interior problems of the United States, that all of this is being funded by the Uniparty, right? We know what the Uniparty is. That's the Republicans and the Democrats that are all under blackmail, that are all under sexual and criminal charges, from ranging from insider trading all the way up to child pedophilia and cannibalism. These are the people who are down with it. right? So what are they doing? They don't have no other means of this, so they're trying to get as many people to go along with this lie as possible. The same Congress that voted to keep themselves out of being criminally investigated, and they all voted for that. The black ones, the white ones, the Indian ones, the commie ones, the Republican ones, the Democrat ones, the independent ones, they all voted for it. They all voted to send your daughters and sons out to die. So that way they can, once this nigga gets kicked out or impeached, try to bring more immigrants, right? So-called illegal people back over here that's going to be run out of their own countries, and then use them as a tax base to replace all of us. They've already come out and admitted that the whole gene engineering, James O'Keefe and them exposed the gene engineering aspect to this, where they've been spraying the chemtrails and the barium and the nanobots and the Magellans that they said was fake, that they said was fake news and conspiracy. All of that's real. All of that's tied to the Epstein class. All of them have been involved with it. All of them have been. And what's crazy to me with that is that they all are. It's not like these niggas don't breathe different air. You understand? They spraying it on themselves as well. That's the crazy shit. They're spraying this all over the place. And it's not like they exist in areas where these chemtrails and these dust particles and shit they put in the air doesn't reach them. They're all doing it to themselves as well. You understand? That's the crazy shit. The crazy shit is that they really think that whatever bunkers or whatever they got is gonna protect them. You understand, if something was to happen, they was to bomb and do what they doing now, and they was to get into these bunkers that they live in. Do you realize that the people that they have down there protecting them, they are now at the beck and call? Those people are now going to basically be on the same level as them. So why would them people, especially now that at that point money wouldn't really be existing at that point, why would them people do anything that these people ask of them? Why would they do it? What benefit would they get from listening to these niggas in a situation when they're not now in the greater population? There's a TV show called Paradise. I don't know if y'all watch this show. And it's all about them creating the bunkers in the Rocky Mountains and how they created a whole artificial environment down there, and the whole shit goes to hell. The whole shit winds up getting messed up, where the people from the outside wind up finding out about it and start coming back and dealing with it stuff. You understand? Like, they don't have an escape for themselves. Nothing that they do is going to stop them from being destroyed. None of the bunkers, none of the stuff that they doing is feasible in the long term for them to be able to avoid the horror that awaits them. And yet, and still, they still trying to pump this to us like it's gonna actually happen the way that they think it's gonna happen. That's what's crazy. They had their chance with the COVID. You're right. Fan L said that lockdown 5, 6 years ago slowed their development big time. Exactly. That was their chance. That was their chance to get rid of as many people as possible. And they did. They killed thousands of people. Fauci and them killed thousands of people. Big Pharma killed thousands, if not millions of people worldwide with this shit. And yet nobody has gone to jail for that. It's already come out in the so-called Epstein files that the whole shit was planned, that they planned this. Epstein and Bill Gates and all these niggas planned this. Why? Because Bill Gates got blackmailed by having sex with a Russian prostitute. And because he was now compromised, he was reaching out to Epstein to get some sort of pharmaceuticals that he could get. Now remember, this is Bill Gates. You mean to tell me you can't go to no doctor in the world? No, you didn't know nobody else. The Gates Foundation, you got all of this money, all of this access. You going to Jeffrey Epstein to find some sort of fake cure for the STD that you knowingly passed on to your wife, and now you trying to get it so that way you could, and asking this nigga if there's a way that you could get it where you could put it in her food and her drink without her realizing it. So as powerful and as much money and shit as this nigga allegedly got, he's scared of his wife. These are the people running the world. These are the people who have the ultimate control. This nigga can't even tell his wife that he was sleeping with a prostitute, with a Russian prostitute from Epstein, and was trying to low-key give his wife antibiotic doses of medicine that he was getting from Epstein. Does that make sense? These are the niggas running shit. This is who y'all got. This is who y'all gonna actually act like is running shit. Then we got the other side of the game where we say, oh well, most of these niggas are dead because they was killed at Gitmo and this and that. Okay, I'm with you. I done seen the list. I even posted the list, right? I even entertained it. Like, I'm not saying that it's not true. What I'm saying is, if that's the case, then why are y'all still letting these niggas walk around here with fake masks on, acting like the people that they killed? Like, if we're supposed to move on from all of this, why are y'all acting like y'all keeping this whole thing going? What is the cycle like? Stop telling me shit like, oh well, we got to do this because if the people found out, the people already found out. The people already know. We already know. So why don't y'all, instead of always talk about what y'all got, like Iran talking about, well, we got all of the files, we're gonna start posting the files of the pedophile. Do it. China talking about, yeah, we got all of these files on all of these niggas eating children. Post it. Israel, yeah, Israel is blackmailing all of the politicians and they know that they got it. So they great, show it. Like, we already know. So y'all can't be blackmailed off of shit that we already know y'all doing. That's the part of this whole psychological operation that don't make sense to me. If we already know that y'all doing all of this, it's already proven. Every other day there's a new pedophile getting arrested, getting exposed. We already know that this is what everyone is doing. So at this stage in the game, why not just post it all? Deal with the fact that we've accepted that all of y'all niggas is criminals, all of y'all niggas is pedophiles. If not pedophiles, y'all have agreed to protect the pedophiles by keeping it all secret. So why not just show it all at this point? What are y'all waiting for? Because we already know. Nobody trusts the government. Anybody that's still trusting any type of government at this point, not just the United States, any type of government. Whether it's Iran, great. Iran said that they not trying to mess with the original people because we the ones have been suffering. Great, I'm down with all of that. But how y'all gonna weed out what's happening? Like, y'all got all of this intelligence. Why not just put it out there? Because we already know. What are y'all waiting for? Because what it seemed like is all of these governments are doing whatever they can basically to squeeze and destroy their own populace. But the thing about it is, if you're going to do that and you're going to squeeze your own populace to the point that they're all dead, who are you going to rule? Who are you going to get it? Oh, well, they're going to basically get it down, like they said with the guidestones, get the whole world population down to 500 million. If there's 128 countries in the world, and you want to cull the world population down from whatever 4 point whatever billion it is now to 500 million people, that means that you're not going to have enough people to occupy each one of these countries that allegedly is down with this shit in order for them to rule over them and to be their slaves. Does that make sense? Do y'all see what I'm saying? How does the math work on that? If it's 128, let's say 129 countries, 4 billion whatever people, 4+ billion whatever people, right? Then y'all want to cull the whole world population down to 500 million. How is 500 million people going to fill up the 120 some odd states that exist and want to facilitate control over the masses of that? How are you going to distribute these people to each one of these countries? It's not mathematically it doesn't make sense. Mathematically, you're not going to be able to do it. Kimberly said, I often surmise that they have unbreakable bonds with hostile interdimensional entities. They have nothing to lose. Right. The entities have nothing to lose, but they do. They have everything to lose because their whole thing is about ruling over us, right? In the name of these things, right? That they say exist. However, how are you going to do that when there's not going to be enough people for them to control? I don't know how that works. How y'all gonna do that? And if there's not enough interdimensional people, if not enough people for these interdimensional beings to feast on, right? Then who are you gonna feed to them? They're gonna feed them on because remember, it's way more of us than it is of them. Is way more of us than it is of them. So, of altogether of the ruling populace, let's say it's no more out of them. It's only maybe, you know what I'm saying. At the very top, it's maybe 2,000 of them, and that I think is even being generous. I even think it's less than that. You know what I'm saying? It may be even less than that. So let's say that's at the top. Then under them, the next rung, right? Let's say that there's let's be generous. Let's say 250,000 of them. You gonna run out of them niggas in the first year of sacrificing if everybody else is going. You know what I'm saying? What then you say, oh well, maybe they'll make clones. And those how you gonna the clones don't have souls? So how is that gonna satiate these interdimensional entities that these niggas have been used to feeding blood and guts and babies and shit to all of this time? How is that gonna work out for them? How does that work? Like within the first 2 years, they all gonna be dead. So then what the interdimensional entities gonna feed off of then? How they gonna exist then? How they gonna sustain themselves then if everybody's gone? If they could rule openly, they would have already, wouldn't they? If these vampires and these demons and all of these things that these niggas is allegedly feeding was so big and bad and so epically powerful and shit, are why haven't they manifest themselves openly and say no, we coming into control? Why they gotta go through all the trickery? Why they gotta go through all the pomp and the circumstance, the pageantry, the theater? Why are we doing all of this bullshit if y'all niggas are so powerful? Why you gotta fool everybody to be powerful? Why can't you just come out, be powerful like they do in Independence Day and start blowing shit up? What's up with that? You see what I'm saying with these theories and the things that these people keep telling us is real. I feel like it's all a part of the scam. I feel like it more and more. I just look at it like this is just another part of the overall scam, yo. Like if y'all niggas are so powerful, vampires, werewolves, demons, right? Why y'all need intermediaries? Why you need these dumb humans that you niggas have been growing in labs or mind controlling to believe that they've been abducted by aliens and shit? Why all of the trickery? Why not just come out powerful, blow shit up, control everybody, put everybody in the camp? Why you need white people to do that shit? Why? You understand what I'm saying? Like why them? Why do you need these inferior beings if you're such an all-powerful entity and you have all of this psychological and magical and mystical control that you're able to just get everybody to sell their soul and do all of this bullshit? How come you need these inferior beings to do your work? You know what I'm saying? it's starting not to make sense. I get the secret societies. I get all of the intermediaries y'all niggas keep using for whatever reason because you think these niggas is gonna do your bidding and all of this other, but that don't even make sense. You mean to tell me the most powerful nigga you could get to set all of this shit off was Donnie? That's the smartest nigga you could get? You understand what I'm saying? So with all of the power, all of the mystical energy, and all of the Faustian bargains and shit y'all niggas made, these niggas is the best you could come up with. Netanyahu is the best you could come up with. That's the most powerful nigga that you could get. Since the last reset, you just been recycling the same white people over and over and over again. And what has it brought you? What has it got you? We was able to reset this. We was able to reset that. We was able to get these people to, like, what's the purpose? Why y'all niggas so weak that you got to use these weak people to follow through when these niggas, this is, if they're worshiping you to get your power, and we can see how weak and corrupted and flawed these niggas who are using your power is. This means these niggas have no power. If you gotta lie to me to try to convince me that you have all of this great energy and power over matter and reality and all this other bullshit, then you don't have it. If these niggas is the best you can do, Donnie is the best you can do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying, right? It just seems like y'all, they could be, there's a lot better people y'all could get. Other than these jokers, other than these obvious actors that are all blackmailed, that are all degenerate. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like y'all niggas don't know how to like, get a casting director, get somebody from Hollywood to know how to pick somebody who actually could look intimidating, that can look like they know what they doing. Because these niggas look stupid. All these niggas look stupid. This nigga Milikowski went to high school in Philly. You understand? This nigga went to high school like right down the block from where the Roots used to get on the street and play instruments and shit. You understand what I'm saying? This nigga grew up. This nigga was in high school, like left high school right when this nigga Iverson was coming in. Like, come on, man. I'm exaggerating, but I'm saying. You understand? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So then you take this nigga Milikowski, you change his name to Netanyahu, right? Satan Yahoo. Then you make this nigga the boogeyman for the so-called state of Israel. And now he's out here genociding millions of people every day. And everybody's standing around like, nah, this ain't cool. We can't keep doing this. But yet still nobody is trying to go there and shut this down. But because he got money, and because niggas in America got money, because they have money, they're willing to pay people to the lobby over here is willing to pay people to keep the genocide going. So they use some Jew from Philly as their front man for this. Does this make sense to y'all? It just seems more and more every day like this is really, it really is a theater. And if we keep believing in it and stop striving to check it, right? This is why it's able to go on. All of these flock cameras, all of these 5G towers, all of these data centers, like, there's more data centers here in the United States they're trying to build than anywhere in the world. Why here? Why here more than anywhere else? Why is the GMO food the way that they doing it the way that it is and nobody's beefing, but niggas want to beef with you about whether or not you are more. Whether or not I'm a more. Nigga, they putting poison in the food that we are eating, whether we're Moors, whether we're Hebrews, whether we're black, whether we're white, whether we're Jew, it doesn't matter, nigga. Like, this is what you got a problem with. This, you got a problem with me calling myself a Moor, but you don't got a problem with these niggas putting arsenic in your cheese doodles, nigga. This is what y'all want to have problems with. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like the priorities of everybody is just all over the place. But real people is getting tired of it, and real people is out here burning down warehouses. One of these niggas, they had a what almost an 8-hour meeting at one of these places, one of these town halls or whatever in Virginia or whatever. And everybody, 100% of the people came to their elected officials and told their elected officials, we don't want the data center in our area. And what did they do? They still voted to get it popping. So somebody, a patriot, got his gat, went to one of them niggas' houses and shot up this nigga's house. Like, this is where they're trying to make the people go. This is where the people are going. The people, when they talk about the Civil War, you got to understand, there are more people against the military right now than are in the military right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look, this is a Caucasus Asian, right? The word Caucasian has a fascinating history tracing back to the Caucasus Mountains, the caves, a region between Europe and Asia. Its origin dates to the mid-1500s, with the term evolving over time. The German anatomist Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, see? Small hat. Blumenbach popularized the term in I-795, using it to describe one of the 5 racial types of humanity in his book, De Generis Humani Veritate Nativia. But these niggas are the last ones to actually be homogenized and domesticated into the world. So they can't be natural, because nothing natural evolves in a cave other than moss and creepy things. You understand? So, like, nothing evolves in a cave. You know what I'm saying? Nothing of high intelligence evolves in caves. Do we understand this? Nothing that is of a high intelligence evolves or comes out of a cave. Bears live in caves. Do bears have a high intelligence? No. You understand? No. So if you can name something that comes out of a cave with a high prefrontal lobe, with high intelligence spheres, with high synaptic recesses, then tell me. Because as it stands, this thing that we're seeing here in the middle, that we are saying that these people themselves have claimed to be descendants of, they do not have a higher functioning brain than things or people or beings that evolved outside of caves. So these things cannot be natural. You understand? Well, yes, werewolves, lichens, cerocephalus, right? Canarios, dogs, even dogs. Dogs have higher function than these things, because a dog got the sense to disregard its own feces. A dog, like if you was to die in your house, right, and your dog was, God forbid, you died in a house and you had a dog, and the dog was there, the dog would not eat you. Understand what I'm telling you? The dog, you could drop dead in the house, and the dog was in the house with you. The dog would stay by your side and would almost starve to death before it ate you. Now take the same perspective of a cat. The cat wouldn't even wait an hour. If the cat was hungry and you dead, the cat gonna eat you. Look it up. Think about that. So the dog has more sense to not only disregard its own feces, but the dog has more an understanding of what is dead and what is alive than these niggas. Because these niggas will have sex with corpses. You understand? The term's connection with the Caucasus Mountains comes from the Scythian word. Now, the Scythians or the Scythians, these are higher elevated beings because they were melanated. So they technically named them the Kroikasis, meaning ice shining, and white with snow, describing the region's snow-capped peaks. Over time, Caucasian became synonymous with the people of white European descent, contrasting with the terms for Asians, which is Asiatic, and Africans during that period. So look, these things don't even have a name. So when you're really saying Caucasian, you're really saying snow. You're really describing snow. You're not even describing them. Because this is a Neanderthal. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is no slight to people of this descent. Right? Because at this stage in the game, I don't even care what color you are. I've seen melanated, I have been seeing nothing but melanated people degenerate to this level of consciousness. So we can't be out here talking any crap about really nobody at this point, because our people have taken the cake recently when it comes to this type of psychopathic behavior. Not all of our people, but a lot of our people right now have deteriorated to the level of Caucasoids, in my opinion. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Let me know if you're seeing something different, because every day I'm just seeing stuff where I'm like, what happened to our people? Like, what happened to these niggas? Like, what happened? How did our people wind up so in such a fallen, degenerate state, bro? And my only thing is, we again were so dumbed down after the last reset that we went basically insane. You understand? As a collective people, we went crazy. And then they used that craziness and then sicked all of these people on us to start to interbreed with, whether by force or by choice. And this just became the thing. And then that insanity was then bred inside of us through this maladaption. And that became the thing. And they say, oh, well, the Scythians was ancient, it was ancient Asians, or they wasn't black, or they wasn't melanated. Okay. See, when they say that they're not black, what they're saying is they're not talking about the melanin in the skin. They're talking about the status of the people. So yes, the Scythians weren't black in terms of their status because they were coming from a higher civilization, a higher civilized mind, because they did not come out of caves. You understand? So it's a play on words. Like when they say, oh, well, everybody came out of Africa. Africa, when we read Our Circle 7 Quran in chapter 47, it said that the Egyptian dominions in Africa. But when we look at Africa, again, it goes back to a lot of the stuff that was over here. They're using it as another term, a Latin term for land. It's only in the modern context that they started to equate it to a geographic location that we understand it to be today. thus creating this out of Africa theory created by small hats, created by two small hats that was then what? That was then officially added to the lexicon of us as so-called original people. It was thrust upon us based upon them giving us this fake history. But again, we got pictures of Africa and all of that in Brazil. You know what I'm saying? From the same 1500 era that these people are talking about. So at some point in the world history, we, after our fall, for whatever reason, started to use these things as beasts of burden and animals and slaves, right? Which is where the actual term for the practice of using them comes from. We started using them as a commodity, especially against one another, which then led to the degradation of us as a people, because slavery is wrong. You understand? However, is it slavery when you use a ox to pull a cart? Is it slavery when you put the saddle on the horse and put the bridle in its mouth to take you places and all of that? I don't know. I don't know. Yet, according to their sources, we were supposed to have dominion over everybody and everything. So is it wrong to then use that dominion to help foster our society to move it where we need it to go? At this point, I don't know. I can't even call it. You know what I'm saying? What I do know is that for the past 80 years, since the fall of the patriarchy, right, in which the melanated man had control of his family, we have consistently gone down. So when I hear people always lauding to me, telling me things like, "Oh well, in a thousand years, in a million years, there's not going to be any men. There's only going to be women in the world, and the patriarchy is the reason why we're this and the reason why we're that." And then I then go on thing and how, you know, the woman is God and how we have to follow this and all of that. And then I look at Coachella and then I see Lizzo and Sexy Red and and all of the thousands upon thousands of women that are supporting this, right? When I look at the abortion numbers, when I look at the pro man hating content that most of these women and a lot of these people are, again, present company excluded. This is only the hit dog holler. If I'm not talking about you, then there should be no reason why you should be offended as to what I'm saying. Because when I was growing up, I realized very early that women really, for the most part, don't like women. Women like women when it comes to them bonding over whatever it is that they need to in the moment. But specifically, most women don't trust one another. You understand? This is what I learned in my experience growing up in a house full of women. You understand? And I was blessed to be able to live in a house with my great great grandmother, grandmother, mother, aunt, cousin. You see what I'm saying? So generations, their friends. You understand what I'm saying? So I was able to see many different women over the years and how they responded and dealt with certain things and people and ideas. You understand? So we can't act like this is some sort of bias critique. It's not. I'm not even criticizing. I'm just stating what I witnessed myself. The first time I heard somebody call somebody a bitch, it was my grandmother calling my aunt that. You understand? You understand? So if we accept that this is true, right? Or that there's truth to what I'm saying, and we who were born, right? Who were born, the first generation that were born in which the man was now out of the house, in which now we grew up in a matriarchy, right? We grew up in that whole OJ's I'll always love my mama, but Papa was a rolling stone. And mama could do no wrong. And mama's this and mama's that. And mama's the backbone. And the black woman is the this and the this and that. And you niggas is horrible. And men are disgusting. And men, like, this is what we were raised in by women. Okay? So I'm saying this to say that if the matriarchy was truly, at least the modern perception of it, if that was truly the way out, then we would see evidence in our everyday life of these women who make up this matriarchy, creating stable governments for us all to go into. Do any of us see that right now? Do any of us in this class see that right now? Have you seen that in the past? I'm 53. Have you seen that in the past 53 years? Anywhere in the world, not just here, anywhere in the world, have you seen this? Please be honest with me and yourself. If you have, let me know. I'm not talking about your individual situation. I'm talking about on a whole, on a generalistic whole. Have you seen evidence of any type of matriarchy in now or in the very recent past that has created some sort of stabilized government that or way of life or society that would allow all of us to leave a so-called patriarchy that is supposed to be so evil that we as men are the source or bane of all the world's destruction, to go into that so that way we could get out of this? No, the general consensus for everybody that's not in the class, I'm looking at all of the chat, everyone is saying no. So stop talking to me about how great a matriarchy is and how bad a patriarchy is. Because it seemed like when the patriarchy in the so-called melanated community was popping, we had our own banks, we had our own schools, we had our own hospitals, we had our own army, we had our own military, we had our own oil fields, we had our own technology, we had our own way of life, we had our own educational system. We had our own spiritual system. So you can talk to me about Cleopatra. You could talk to me about Queen Nzinga. You could talk to me about all of these people who may or may not even have existed. This is the level of the game that we have to start to entertain, y'all. One cannot exist without the other. You cannot have a father without a mother. You cannot have a mother without a father. I grew up hearing lies. Like, oh, well, I had to be the mother and the father to my son. What? What? How did you do that? I didn't learn to pee by watching my mother go to the bathroom. When I saw my mother go to the bathroom, I realized that's not how I'm supposed to pee. I don't pee like that. I learned to pee by being around other boys, watching them pee in kindergarten or whatever. or seeing my father prior to him being kicked out or leaving the house or whatever, blessed the dead, and him going to the bathroom. That's how I learned. So what are you talking about? How are you the father? How does that work? It's a lie. It's a lie. Then they say, oh well, the Moorish Empire was a matriarchy, and we all based everything. The African people in so-called Africa, right, the land that we know as a continent today of that, right, they was a so-called matriarchy, right? Wasn't they conquered? Didn't the Moors go over there and conquer all of them? Didn't they go conquer them? Oh well, the American Indians and the American Indians was a matriarchy, and wasn't they conquered by patriarchy? Wasn't they conquered? Who conquered them? Women? No, no. Santiago Islam. He said, Mother Nature and the Father of the universe is calling for us to be in harmonious balance between the two, both male and female. Exactly. You do not use your left hand only if you have access to both. Who in their right mind would walk around on purpose, right? Hold on, let me switch the image. Who in a right mind will walk around on purpose only using one arm when they got two? Does that make sense? No, but when the so-called white man, when the Neanderthal, when the domesticated Neanderthal came and gave our women, who was more financially ahead of everybody else in the country. Why? Because when the white interlopers, the people who were occupying the fictitious government after the coup d'etat, and we was away fighting the wars, sending all of our money back home to the women, who was driving their own cars, having their own tailors, not having to go work for no white woman, no white people, nowhere, had their own full communities, was living high, couldn't go to the bank because the banks were segregated, so we had our own banks. They had their own jobs. They had their own raising their own children. No, the white man, the same domesticated white man, went to them and said, look, we'll give you government money. We'll give you government money so you can have your own money. But they had their own money. The money we was fighting and dying to give them and send them. They had it already. But they wanted more. And when the white man saw that they were willing to do that, that's when everything started to change for us as a people. They knew that they could control us through her. Because when given the chance to choose between being independent with us or being independent by herself, what did she choose? Tell me I'm lying. And if you tell me I'm lying, then how do you explain Toni Morrison? How do you explain Nikki Giovanni? How do you explain all of these black communist feminists that convinced y'all that every one of y'all grandmothers was being raped by your grandfather? And y'all ran with that. Fan L from the Gospel of Thomas. She quoted, when you make male and female into a single one, so that the male shall not be male and the female shall not be female, then you will enter the kingdom. Exactly. Which kingdom? The kingdom of Adam Kadmon, the small hat androgynous god that these devils wanted us to all be a part of. Switch gears for a minute. Put a pin in that. Here go the Scythians, right? Look, the skull of Princess Ryzenakawa, right? With the tiara and necklace in Poland. This is a Scythian. Claimed to be a Scythian skull, but the skull appears to be that of a so-called black woman. Boom. Look at this skull right here. This is a melanated skull right here. These were melanated people. There was no goldsmiths in the caves, y'all. These so-called Scythians or Tartarians or whatever you want to call them, these is melanated peoples. Dripped and dipped in gold, had their own burial rites, had their own civilizations. Male and female together, called the Tart, or in the frozen sea above Tartary, and used to march to them upon the ice. Horanius thinks that the expeditions of those Scythians into America might happen around AC 400, when the affairs of the North were in the utmost confusion by their mutual wars, see, fighting one another, which together with their being overflocked with people, see, immigration, mass immigration due to displacement due to the wars, occasioned their rambling into all quarters, into all elements of the world. And then 'tis probable that those who lay nearest America were forced to take sanctuary in that country. This seems to be confirmed by the account of the Americans given of who? It says the Chichumacha, which is the Chikumaga, a barbarous people. See, barbarous, Moorish, Barbary people who much resembled the old Scythians in their hunting, rambling, and other customs, and according to them came into Mexico, right, above the 700th year of Christ, by which 'tis probable that they had peopled most of the northerly parts of America before that time. And straight in the straits which bear his name found people in complexion, habit, and customs that resembled the Sarmatians, right, and the Tartars, which again is a misnomer, another term to represent melanated people from the far eastern portion. But remember, the farthest east you go, you go west, you wind up west. So these are distinctly different than the Caucasoid and the Kavars, right, that we read about earlier. So again, I'm not striving to make it a male against female thing. I'm striving to build and let everybody know of the difference in the peoples. If these peoples wasn't melanated, right, then why did they have picks? Why did they use picks for their hair? Think I'm playing? Look. What's up with that? Look at him with the Fez helmet on. Look at him with the thick afro hair, right? Like the old Russian, like the old Muscovites used to rock. Look at this. And look at the craftsmanship on this thing. This is solid gold. So white people use picks in their hair now? Ancient white people was using picks? That's what we saying now? All to keep this lie going? That's what we doing? That's what we saying? That's what we doing. Here we go. Here goes some cave pictures of the Scythians or Scythians, however you want to say it. It looked just like the Greeks, which didn't really exist the way that they say. Look at this. Yeah, they say it's a comb. Well, see, the difference between a pick and a comb is a comb got a handle. Why would white folk who, when they comb their hair, hold it with one hand and then comb it with the handle in the other? Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they have a handle on this thing? No, this is a pick. So these are the ancient Asians. But God forbid we do the knowledge to it, see it for what it is. They're gonna tell us it's something else. Because that's what they because that's what they do. Because nobody want Moors to be able to just say who and what we are. We always got to some dirty nigga always got to come and tell us what we not. Ask us why we can do this. I got this one psycho that is always asking and trying to send kites out why I get to wear a war bonnet or why I get to do this. Like, you're a fucking psycho, bro. Who are you that I gotta answer anything to? I was wearing this probably before you was even born. You know what I'm saying? Before you even had knowledge about nothing. Why do you even care? Like, I don't care what other people is doing if I believe that they not what I think they're not. Right? Why do you even care? Because niggas be so caught up in their lives and what they believe that they're not, that they always have to try to make it so that way you can be somehow, I don't know, enamored by their opinion of you. Like, nigga, you don't even exist. You niggas don't even exist. You understand? You don't even exist. I only found out because somebody sent me a thing. Because I block so much shit now. Because at my age, like, it's like, so what? One of the most powerful things that we have as living beings is the power of indifference. To be totally indifferent about things, people, uh, uh, circumstances. That's one of the most powerful things that we have that we rarely engage with, and we should, because it's our energy that gives life to what these people or what these events that are happening want us to do. They want us to fear the destruction, the worldwide destruction of a nuclear winter and all of this other stuff. They've been trying to instill that fear in us for the past 30, 40, almost 50 years. You understand? They was making movies, they was making documentaries, things like The Day After and all of this other type of stuff to make us see what it would be like and all of that. Why? So that way we can believe that they have the power to destroy what they did not create. They want us to believe that they are mightier than the Almighty itself. They want us to believe that. Because we, as the collective Almighty, if we give our energy to them, to believe that, then they can actually use the psychic energy of that belief and channel it into organic energy that they then can make true. That is the ultimate sorcery. That's how they're able to make things happen. None of the stuff they happen. Look at what was happening with the ice thing. How many times did you see them make posts and stuff about how this whole thing is messed up, that melanated people are not out there protesting and everything with them. How many clips did you see with that? A lot, right? A lot. And while that was happening, did you see any clips about black men or black people getting shot by police and this and that? None. You didn't see none. So they had to start doing it again. You understand? They had to start doing it again to try to galvanize us into that, because nothing was working. Because we realized that none of this has anything to do with us. You know how powerful that is? That's the indifference that I'm talking to you about. That's the power. Y'all want to nuke the world? Y'all want to create all of this? No. Why? If data centers and G5 and all of this stuff was so good, why they gotta camouflage it with trees? They made fake trees to hide the G5 tower things in it, because our people was knocking them down, was destroying them. And so they had to create another crisis, another situation to get us from paying attention to them. Well, too bad, because niggas is picking up on it again and they not happy. Anybody that is going into government that does not have a platform of so-called pro-America first or pro-human beings, pro-man, woman first, anti-machine, anti-AI, what did they say about AI? AI was supposed to be the biggest thing, and it was going to take over all of that. All you see them using AI with is creating scams. So it was a lie. To the point ChatGPT is going out of business. Nobody use it. Nobody using it. It's done. The AI bubble is done. Especially when the AI started coming out showing truthful shit, showing Abraham Lincoln and Washington and all of these people as melanated. All out of nowhere. They had to shut the whole thing down. Remember that? Every time that the small hats was being expelled, they were being expelled because they were eating and sacrificing children. That's what they do. It's part of their religion. I showed you in 3 videos ago, how all the soldiers was riding the children's toys of the children that they shot and killed and raped and tortured, as well as the dresses of all of the women that they raped and tortured and murdered and throw in mass graves. When you create a fictitious religion, when you make everybody believe that they are the chosen people and everybody in the world is supposed to be their slaves, this is what they believe. And they are willing to destroy the entire world to keep that myth going, when the whole thing is not even real. None of these niggas is from there. The real Jerusalem is over here. You understand? We were dealing with high technology before that place that they call Israel, that state, even existed. So when you have a religion by which they, like, why would somebody draw a picture of this? Why do we have so many pictures all around Europe of them destroying and raping and eating and bloodletting children? Why? Why is there so many pedophiles and cannibals in it? I was just watching this thing the other day. This nigga Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be in the new Heat. They doing a Heat 2. First of all, how you doing a Heat 2 when De Niro, the character, died in the first one? That don't even make sense. But okay, I'll give you that. But y'all still working with this nigga who is a cannibal? He said on the 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 text that they found in the Epstein files, he bragged about being a full-fledged cannibal to none only than Woody Allen. He was bragging to Woody Allen how great it was for him to be a cannibal. This is Leonardo DiCaprio, the same nigga who was pushing the whole climate change shit on y'all. The same one that this chick, Tiana Taylor, is jumping all around and doing movies and proud to be in parties and shit with. And we're celebrating these people? You're celebrating people who get awards from people who eat and rape and murder children. This is what y'all doing? This is success for y'all? Oh, she getting a bag. Getting a bag? From doing what? Eating, being around niggas who eat children. And you're proud to be in a movie with this person? You proud to sit at dinners with these people? Am I bugging? Like, am I bugging? Do I not see the upside in this? What is the upside of doing a movie with a cannibal? Other than, well, they not eating me, right? That could be the only upside. These dirty Moors trained these niggas well. You heard me? They trained these niggas well. Thank you, Fan L. Fan L said there's a book called The Complete List of the 1030 Jewish expulsions in human history, PDF online. Everybody should get it. That's your homework. Everybody get that. It's free online. Get it while it's there. This is Lord Macaulay's address to the British Parliament in 1835, right around the first half of the second reset. I have traveled across the length and breadth of Africa. So with this, we can take this to mean the lands of the continent of Africa over there, Brazil, and America. I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break every backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose that we replace her old, ancient education system, her culture, for if the Africans think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. And it happened. When these dirty Moors was set aside and they was made where they could not come back over here because they had spent too much time around them niggas in the caves. The only way in was to force their way in, so they created a program to hybridize these things, shave them down, give them names, give them titles, teach them aspects of war that they would then fund, and then use them to come and destabilize any areas that they were then forbidden to come in, even at the expense of their own lives. We in the same position today. They decimated the American military. Now they're trying to say, well, everybody that we said couldn't come in, y'all could come back in now. If you got weed charges, it's okay. If you got these charges, it's okay. We just need y'all to come in. Word, word, word. So that way, while you're gone and you're fighting all of these other wars over here, we can then come over here, uh, kill your children, destroy your communities, do everything that we did in the last resets. We're gonna keep doing it here because you niggas don't learn. Right? We're gonna cook, we're gonna use up, we're gonna burn up the land so we can use all the land for these data centers that drink more water than any human ever does. So this is where the water shortages will come in. Right? This is what we're gonna do. We're going to bring the water shortages in because the data centers, the computers need to drink water. The computers got more access to water than you do because we need them to help the world and keep control of the world that we don't have no control over. So the computer needs to drink the water. So we're going to put rations on your water. We're going to lock you up if you try to take rainwater. Like what? This is what I'm saying with these demons, man. And it's melanated people helping them do it. It's Asian people, gay people. It don't matter. It's whether or not you with them or not. This is a multicultural, multi-generational, multi-ethnic, multi-religious order that all of these niggas is in. And they're all working together to do it. They have inverted everything to the point that you can't believe nothing. So when we talk about, oh, these are the dirty Moors that do it, stop always thinking about niggas with turbans on and fezzes on. It wasn't just them, yo. It's everybody that was down with the new so-called world order, the reset order, which was what? Based upon a, lack of a better word, Luciferian outlook, working with interdimensional entities that they would give their bodies up to as host entities so that way they could get greater information on technology to be able to create the perfect male and female automaton. Like I said, this nigga Victor Emmanuel was made to be a god. They created a false god for melanated people to worship. And based upon CIA and them, they realized the best place for them to pop it off was Escamaica because they were losing control of Escamaica at the time due to the political powers that was at war, which was the PLP and the PNP and the PLP with Siaga and Michael Manley in them. Manley was being propped up by the Soviets. Siaga was being propped up by CIA. So it was really a war between the KGB and the CIA. It was a war between communism and capitalism. That's what was really going on. So they needed a way to be able to foster the true original people, the Maroons, the Moors of Moorstown and all of that there to stop them from catching on to what was going on. So what better way was to then take over the music and then use the music to help fund this pseudo revolutionary war that they was going in. And so they got a half-breed like your man Robert Nesta to basically get in with the real people that was there, people like Bunny, people like Peter, right? And was using him as the face. And once they blew up, right, they had to go where? They had to go to Britain and get on the old gray whistle test. That was the show. And broadcast that shit all over the world. And then that's when Bob became the center. Because after that, Bunny peeped what's going on. And when you look at that show, when they was first on, when he was doing Concrete Jungle and all of that, when Peter and Bunny was still in the group, Bunny was wearing a maroon fez. So they got Christopher Blackwell, thank you, of Fabian, part of the funded by the Tavistock Institute. Thank you. The niggas that was behind the Beatles, the niggas that was behind the Rolling Stones, the niggas that was behind Black Sabbath, the niggas that was behind what's the other one? Led Zeppelin, right? Deep Purple, all of these psychological groups that was created out of military intelligence. Get the book Weird Scenes from Laurel Canyon. Get the book the Conspiracy Against Rock, and you read that all of these niggas, they didn't even play instruments. So all of them was fostered to do this. Victor playing two roles, Selassie in one, Selassie in Jamaica, God Selassie in Jamaica, the Emperor of Ethiopia, but at the same time, he's also the head of the Holy Roman Empire. Ruler of Albania and Italy. Why you think when the shit went down with Eritrea, in Spain, with Black Mussolini, where did he go? He went to England. So they made this nigga a god, created a whole nother god complex, right? For the true revolutionaries, the dreads in them, that Leonard, right? That whole stuff, they had to dead that because that was all set up by Leonard Howell before Selassie was even crowned. What did Hoover say in the 20s? They said we have to stop the Black Messiah. So we will create the messiahs for them. And they did. Prester John was one. King James was one. Victor Selassie was one. What's his name was one. Maurice was one. This goes back. All the way back. But when these niggas was in the caves, they was doing this. But again, we give all of the credit, all of the glory to the white people. They are just so above everybody. When all I see is these niggas playing themselves. And they still doing it. These niggas is still under their control through the decoy royalty shit. This is how they are able to maintain power. They're all down with it in some form or fashion, especially if they're trying to come back out into the mainstream. You got to kiss the ring. Remember when Kramer went through that whole thing after Seinfeld, when he went into that whole nigger rant, when he was calling everybody nigger? Remember all of that? Remember that? Yeah. That's because he was going up the degree. That was part of the ritual. Did you get it? He moving up the ladder, just like this nigga. But like I said, at least this nigga, you know that he playing both sides because he is an honest Gemini. He know that he's playing both sides because that's the Freemasonic way. You understand? But man cannot serve two masters, right? Ain't that what we taught? But they still doing it, ain't they? They still serving them though, right? So let's stop acting like these niggas is doing anything other than what they're allowed to do based upon the agreements and them being a part of the system. They are a part of it. All of them. All of them. You understand? All of them. That is what they signed up for. That's how they were able to gain power. Like, melanated people still out here bigging up Barack. They still out here toting how great Barack Obama is. Do you understand that? Do you understand that this nigga was raised by astronauts? That this nigga was a product of the intelligence community? Do you understand that? Do you understand that this nigga don't have no conscience, no soul, no nothing? This nigga's married to a man. This nigga will say and do anything. Do you realize that him and Steph Curry are the ones that created the whole toxic masculinity thing? That they used him to hoist that phrase on everybody, that Tavistock Tuskegee Institute phrase on you to help delineate you. Didn't you hear that this nigga said that every black male should have a gay man in his life? What? That his gay professor was there to keep him in line when he was feeling too thin, and that they're the ones that should teach them about manhood? What? Even gay men ain't talking that shit. Even gay niggas is not talking that type of rhetoric, but this nigga is. Why? Because he know. Who is he pandering to? He pandering to the same people who he been pandering to. Black women. Wasn't he raised by a single mother who had him around all of these pedophiles and all of these cannibals? Like all the rest of us? My mind is androgynous. Former President Barack Obama once wrote he thought he wanted to make love to men daily, but in the imagination, in a letter to his then girlfriend, who was a white girl. But look who his mentor was. The longest serving Democrat, Senator Robert Byrd, died in 2010. Hillary called him her mentor. Obama gave the eulogy at his funeral. This nigga, the Kami Mandami, who was a millionaire, is now trying to tax a jizya on all of the so-called non-white people in New York. Talking about he's trying to deal with the disparaging, disproportionate money situation that takes place between the black community and the white community in New York. Meanwhile, debt theft committed by small hats against melanated people specifically, all through Brooklyn, all through Queens, all through the Bronx, all through Harlem. He ain't talking nothing to deal with that. Because he was raised just like this nigga. Just like Kamala. All of these niggas was raised outside of this country. Raised and tortured and raped and put through MK Ultra programs, MK Naomi programs. For y'all that don't know, MK Naomi stands for Negroes are only momentary individuals. You want to read more on that? Get the book The Pale Horse by William Cooper. Get another book called The UFO Cipher of the Secret Cipher of the UFO Knots by Dan Greenfield, I believe the name is. More on that. This is why their military is in the toilet. And every member of Congress voted for them to be able to send your children to die if they're U.S. citizens. This is the product of the Tides Foundation, run by the Pritzker family, another small hat, deviant, androgynous, trans, what do you call that? Adam Cadmon type people. These are the ones that infested the government and was paying for all of the transgender surgeries and all of the stuff that they was doing. Do you know that that Grindr Grinder is going to be the sponsor for the upcoming White House Correspondents' Dinner. This why the United States is where it's at, because they have destroyed any capability, any credibility that they had in the world is over because of shit just like this. This is who was in the military. This is why they were trying to redo the military by getting this psychopath Pegseth in there. Because the Pritzker Foundation, the Tides Foundation, these billionaire, small hat, Luciferian, Fabian Satanists, androgynes, were trying to fill up the ranks with Adam Kadmon to not only demoralize the military itself, but to also show the world that they are not serious, that they are not a real military, that they are ripe for being taken over. That's why you hear this bitch Kamala talking about she thinking about running again. Yes, Fan L said the Alumbrados were against. Yes, the Alumbrados were against all of this. This was one of the Moorish orders that was against it, that was using their money to fund wars against all of this type of stuff, who were against the decoy royalties. They were against all of this to no avail. So now you want to get men, after you demoralize, dehumanize males, now you want to get males involved. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Not the way that you want. And your ICE people that you want to get, that's going to try to what? Enforce this draft shit or whatever. Do you understand? You cannot have an army of people who don't want to fight for you. You understand? It's maladapted. It's not going to work. You're going to have nothing but mutinies. You're going to have nothing but sabotages. You're going to have the enemy do its work for you. It's unstable. It's not sustainable for you to do this. So the other day, remember Melania? She came out with the impromptu press conference. Y'all remember that? This all relates. Remember that? That shit came out of nowhere. You probably ain't never heard Melania speak more than 3 words. This bitch was on TV for like a half an hour, copping pleas, talking about how she wasn't down with this, wasn't down with that. Well, you know why she's doing that? Because one of her best friends is married to one of these psychopathic billionaire pedovores, right? And this nigga was out there, and she basically came out, and he trafficked this child that he wound up marrying and having a baby with, right? So something happened between them, and now she want to get a divorce. So this nigga called Trump and called ICE on her and got her deported. After bringing this bitch here when she was like 15 years old. Right? So he got her deported so that way he wouldn't have to pay alimony and could keep the kid or whatever that they have, right? So the thing is, Melania knew about it and didn't tell this chick. So this chick, when she got out, she said, "Oh, word? You doing it like that? Well, I'm about to drop the hammer on all of this. I ain't got nothing to lose no more." Look what she said. "I have nothing less to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are and who your husband is. I will take legal action against you and your pedophile husband. I have known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained in ICE. You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him back in 2016. Something was clearly wrong. but I am not a part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. Do you know what I think about you after 20 years? So Melania go on and she say, look, she jumping ahead of it. She said, look, I don't know nothing about Epstein. I wasn't down with this. Is all based on tweets. This was all based on tweets. This bitch talking about I wasn't with, even though I was at parties with him, I didn't really know him. So that's Melania, what she's saying. But then we got this though. But then this out here. I don't know Epstein, but then look. Then on the same day, they hooked up your boy Epstein 2.0, Palm Beach Pete, and the lie detector said that he's Epstein. Now he's saying the lie detector is lying. You see how everything we talk about in these classes becoming true? I told y'all, this is how they do. They brought this thing. There was no way this nigga could not be Epstein the way that they paraded him all through mainstream media to rub it in your face because that's part of the ritual. So it's over. So again, I say to her friend, do it. Stop waiting. Stop waiting. Stop talking about it and do it. Drop it all. Put it all out there. So that way there can be no doubt of what we already know is happening. Stop playing. Stop wasting our time with the lies. We know what y'all niggas is already doing. Again, these Neanderthals could not have come up with this all by themselves because they all are following a script that was preordained for them. So on top of that, y'all probably need to get rid of your TikToks. Sorry, y'all, but TikTok is being run by the IDF. If you didn't know, now you know. The new terms of service, Ellison and them that done bought all of this stuff, they are hemorrhaging. They're losing control daily. They only using mainstream media to beat you in the head to make you think like they winning. They not. They losing. So they trying to take control of all media that they can. And it's not enough. People are still clamoring for the files and everything to come up. Niggas is burning down data centers. Niggas is hunting down judges. It's not a joke. They not reporting half the shit that's happening to y'all. Look, this is the new terms of service. We may collect, this is IDF now. This is all, the whole security IDF intelligence is running TikTok now. We may collect the following information depending on your settings and how you use the services. Information about your physical, mental health conditions that you or others choose to provide in the content that you create or upload through the services. For example, you or others may provide such information if you compose, send, or receive messages through the services, messaging, functionalities, create a post, non-public user content, discussing a recent illness or a search for information about an illness or condition through the services, such function. You may also choose to provide such information if, for example, you participate in surveys, research promotions, contests. Why? Because they looking for anything that they could use should they choose to target you, that they could use your health as a cover-up for the hit. So if you got asthma and you got to get an asthma pump, that's a way for them to get at you. Okay, we'll just poison his asthma pump when he order it through Amazon. You see what I'm saying? So when you get it, now you use it, now you're dead. Then they can say, oh, he just had a fatal asthma attack. No, you was talking about it in a post, and now that's how they're going to use to clip you. This is ultimate statecraft right here. So get out. Get out. The only way that they're going to know it's not working is if everybody was to shut their TikTok down tomorrow, they all would go bankrupt. Do you understand that? That's how you win this war. Again, indifference. Take the power back from them. They only respond to money. Money is the lubricant, the social lubricant that they use to control you and to keep it going. If the money runs out, it's over. You understand? It's over. It's easy. That's how you think the Italian, the Spanish government and all of that got flipped overnight. Everybody just stopped paying for government services. The whole government shut down. Everybody had to go. They put new people in there. Now these niggas is working directly. They opening up an embassy in Tehran. They opening an embassy in Tehran so they can pay for their oil in yuan and not dollars. Overnight. You understand? It's over for these niggas, bro. Everybody in the world is protesting this war. Everybody, all over the entire world. Nobody wants communism, socialism. Nobody wants this. Nobody is functioning from it anymore. Nobody is down with it. So now they coming out, niggas, slaves like Jay-Z coming out here telling you, oh, well, they anti-capitalist. And nobody's anti-capitalist. Nobody is against making money. People who make money, nobody is against making money. The only people that's against making money is people who don't have money because they're not making it. So they want to take other people's money. You understand? That's the key. If you're making money and you're successful, the way you stay successful is stop talking about how much money you make. You understand? Anybody in Forbes that they're showing you in Forbes that's a millionaire are liars. They're all broke. You pay for that. Do you understand that them people pay for that? That's a psychological operation. How much money the Farnese got? You know how much money Bezos got. How much money Farnese got? How much money Orsini got? How much money the Aldombradi got? Do you know? No. No. You know how much money Rothschild though got, right? Right. What about the Chichi? The Chichi family. How much money they got? You don't know. Exactly. Because they pick and choose. Because real niggas with money, the real money is outside of NASDAQ, outside of the stock market, outside of the derivative market, outside of the short sale markets. Real niggas with money, you don't know how they got money. You just know that they got money. And you keep your money by not talking about how much money you got. You understand? That's the first rule of money. That's in the Bible. In the same Bible that these niggas read, it say that keep all of the good deeds that you do for yourself and your people, you keep them secret. Let those who receive awards and accolades from the world let everybody know, because those people are really playing. They are not really doing nothing. You let your yays be your yays and your nays be your nays. You do not say one thing here and then on Friday night at the lodge or at the temple or at the synagogue or whatever, you doing and saying something totally different. That's why all of that shit is evil. That's why all of that stuff is thing. They have magazines, surveys that they give each other in these different orders as to how they should market and murder and kill people. But you wouldn't know because you're not in it. And the people that's in it is that you know is not going to tell you about it. That's why you can't trust them. There's a brother on Facebook, Brother Tram Dickinson. He had posted these books. You should check that out. Check out his page on Facebook too. Every person is insider trading and scalping wealth from the nation while the nation is slowly dying. The odds of correctly guessing a coin flip 16 times in a row is 65,536 or 0.001526%. They're all betting money on how they can short sale and destroy the country and get you to die. They got whole sites where they average how many Americans they could kill per year, and they make average bets on this. But they want you to believe capitalism and all that shit is evil. No, capitalism wasn't even created by white people. It wasn't created by Adam Smith. They want you to believe that. But it wasn't. Adam Smith was just a functionary because Adam Smith was under the jurisdiction of the Moorish Empire, like all the rest of them niggas was. And as it was fracturing, they took out elements of it to then apply to what they call European banking. The capitalism under the Moorish Empire is totally different than the shit that they talking about that you see these Arabs and these niggas doing now. They're living off of that while they are short selling your future, betting how many of us they can kill off in these fake skirmishes and wars, while they make money off of our corpses and how much money they can make off of the human organs and stuff, because a lot of us don't check off the no to the human organ donor option on your licenses or on your whatever. You make sure you do that, because if you don't, if you get into an accident or something, they won't resuscitate you. They'll just let you die so that way they can get your organs, because they're ghouls, they're necromancers, they're zombies. They make money. You know how much money the cosmetic agencies and the pharmaceutical agencies make off of black women every year off of these abortions? That now they're putting it in your food, they're putting it in your water. You think that's going to stop them from doing it, though? Think that's going to stop these women from doing it? Nope. Nope. They are the food for the divinity that they worship, and they worship vanity. They worship convenience in your makeup, in your food, in your children's baby food. They feeding your babies, nigga. Capitalism is not the problem. You understand? Capitalism is what our people functioning under the old laws of the old ancient empire. That's how we was able to be ahead of all of these niggas up until the end of our society, which happened to coincide with the end of the so-called black male patriarchy in his family, in which he became a second-class citizen in his own family and exiled out of his own family by his woman, so she could receive pittance from the same government that was setting her up for control, for perpetual control, so she could get a piece of paper, so she could go and pledge Delta and AKA and shit and get raped and tortured in the hazing process, which again is a satanic Masonic ritual, so they can sign your soul over to Minerva or Esther or Ishtar or Semiramis or any one of these dead ghosts that y'all niggas keep worshiping, putting up Mason signs and shit for. Always telling us how we don't know what it is and this is better, and you just saying that because you're not down with it. This is an ancient system. Ain't no Mason built, ain't no modern Mason today built no damn pyramid, man. Stop lying. They've been telling these lies to y'all, and it's a lie. When you read the story, it says that they built Solomon's temple, which itself is an allegory. They never said they built no damn pyramid. Just be lying. All of these lodges fall under the jurisdiction of this one. All of y'all. All of y'all. Yours too. Even the one you think that you don't, yours too. Small Hats is running all you niggas. Black, white, Asian, red, they running all of y'all. They just dedicated the whole joint to this nigga, Eli Cohen, who was one of the most prolific spies that state, that genocidal state ever produced. Everything they tell you about that shit is a lie. I don't give a damn what you think you know. I don't give a damn what you think you in or how it's not you and we just don't know and we just not down with it and we just go by what the whatever nigga. Whatever nigga. If you need another nigga to give you a degree to rise up to some sort of understanding that you as a man can't garner yourself, then you're a slave. That's my opinion. Because everything and every piece of knowledge that I ever got, I got for myself because man knows not from being told, whether wrong or right. So save all of that step and fetch it shit for me. Because the only all I see is a bunch of Shriner niggas doing dances, a bunch of Divine Nine niggas throwing hand signs up, doing dances, everybody doing dances, but then just the other day, the Scottish Rite, there's a whole beef going on between them and the Prince Halls because they say fuck the Prince Hall. We don't need you niggas. We're the keepers of the ancient secrets. and the PHs ain't doing shit. They ain't doing nothing about it but beefing. But talking. This Pam Bondi, she got thing because she didn't hide shit enough. So they asked her the other day, well, what do you think is going on with that? Well, do you know what it is, though? There are tens of thousands of videos with them all with little kids. So the FBI have to go through every one. Thousands of videos of these niggas. All of them. All of them. So again, in order for you to be in Congress, in order for you to be in the Senate, in order for you to be in industry, politics, Hollywood, big business, big pharma, big oil, big tobacco, all of them are eating and raping and dismembering children. That is the prerequisite. One thing Kanye said was funny. He said, oh yeah, so the one billionaire that is not in the Epstein files is the one that y'all banned from going to the UK. See what I mean? Broken clock right twice a day. You're all down with it. It's an international ring that has been going on for over 2,000 years that is headed up by these niggas here. And this is their main chance to carry it further into the future. And they believe that their AI God is going to be the Messiah that they can use to make sure that we all become the food for it as well. And I'm here to tell you that that is not going to happen. One way that we can stop it from happening is create our own institutions, create our own stories, create our own videos, our own characters, our own movies, our own everything. And in those movies, we create an alternate future, alternate realities, project ourselves in a time when these niggas are all dead, in a time beyond the point where they're all dead. We create our own stories, our own books, our own thing, and mind control ourselves to create and see a world where they no longer exist. That's how we get out of it. That's how you do it. Because that then inspires the generations. That then inspires the new ones, the young ones, the old ones, to then see a world outside of all of this madness. Or a world where you want to see the pedophiles get charged? You want to see them go to jail? Great. Create a movie. Create an AI movie where all of them is going to jail. Make it so good that people believe it's real. And then you know what happened? People start then actually see it. You got AI now. So you could do an actual movie yourself, showing Donnie, showing all of these niggas getting locked up, getting hung, getting shot by firing squad, paying for what they do. Even if it's not real, you know what will happen? The more people see it, the more people feel good about it, the more people start to internalize the viewing of that. That goes into their subconscious. You know what starts to happen? It starts to happen in real life. I'm giving you the keys on how the shit work. Why you think Hollywood is dead? because we don't believe none of them now, because we know all of them eat babies. Do you understand? So I can't just sit there and watch Leonardo DiCaprio no more talking about whatever his character is or whatever. I don't believe none of you niggas, because I know all of you niggas is on the island. So great. Do a movie about the island. Do a movie, an AI movie, a book, a comic book, a novel, whatever. Do it, but in the movie, make sure that the people pay for what happened in the most gruesome ways possible. And you know what's going to happen in real life? Real life will dictate what it is your subconscious accepts. There is a saying, you deserve what you tolerate. So if you tolerate it, that means you're okay with it. If you don't tolerate it, that means you're not. The time for the decoy families and all of that shit is over. It's over for them. They have been hiding behind the fake names, the fake places, the fake wars. All of that is over for them now, y'all. And we are the means to make it happen. I'm telling you. Do it. Even if you just do it for yourself, do it and watch what happens in real life. I talked about what happened with the Kurds. I showed and proved to y'all the other day. Had a whole discussion about how the Kurds they was trying to get the Kurds in the war, and why the Kurds is always being persecuted because they worship the peacock king Malik Tos. Then on my birthday, what happened? The peacock showed up. And again, I start talking about that. What happened? The next day, the nigga Donnie said, yeah, we're not using the Kurds no more. We're not going to send the Kurds in. Do you see what I'm saying? This is in real time. I was telling y'all about NASA, going through the whole series, the whole gate series I went in, right? What happened? More and more people, they was polling more and more people. Since that video, more video series, more and more people started coming out, sending me testimonials, telling me about how they was at NASA, telling me how they starting to remember this, telling me, going over how the moon landing is not real. And they remember different aspects and the pink liquid and all of that. What happened? These niggas got to go back to the moon. All of a sudden. Then what happened? They do it on April 1st. We exposed the shit on April 1st to the point this nigga Kanye came out and said, yo, that whole shit is fake. Citing the same points we cited in this class. Like I said, the Europeans, when they talk about the Europeans that set all this shit up, it was melanated people. Using these whites as decoys. That's what they do. That was part of the old Moorish paradigm, how these niggas was able to maintain control and do all the shit that they was doing. So don't let them make you think that making money is somehow wrong. No, what's wrong is when you use your money to do something other than make yourself happy, save for your family, and do all of that. Using money to murder, get people murdered, or rape children, that's what's wrong with it. Because the other option is not there. Communism is not the way to go. And that's what they have bred melanated people to be involved with. Communism. And it's evil. It's another small hat creation to throw you off your your game, to keep you destitute, to keep you from your own estate. Get these books. Again, big up to Brother Tram. And all the other Moors on Facebook. There's so many I can't even name, but y'all know who y'all are, man. As well as anybody else that's doing the work, putting the work out there, man. Stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Stop letting these niggas tell you. Stop letting these cave people who don't even have names. Caucasian don't even mean person. It means snowy peak. Yeah, so lastly, before we close out. This is the grim dark future that they have been posting on shit like Reddit. And all that's another thing. All of these tech niggas is dying. The nigga who started OnlyFans dead. The nigga who started Reddit, who married what's her name? Serena Williams, whatever that nigga's name is. That nigga's suffering from cancer now. What you call it? Gates. He got the incurable disease. He got the monster. He gonna be up out of his like they all are AIDS infested, disease infested. All these niggas, all these tech niggas, they all up out of here, bro. So yeah, so think about deleting your TikTok account for real, because you do not need the IDF knowing how you think, what you sleep is bad enough. And they spreading themselves way too thin. They in Lebanon. They in you know what I'm saying? They being bombed by 3 different countries right now. It's really not good for them right now, specifically. Yeah, that whole Adam Smith. You also get the book Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. That book was based upon what he learned from Ibn Khaldun, a Moor, the Moor, not the Arab, not the Muslim, the Moor. Okay, yeah, get that book. 1 second. When people start talking that matriarchy shit and all of that, yo, don't even engage it. Don't even get upset. Don't even just stop talking to them. Stop talking to them because they cannot show you anywhere in history, in modern history, where a matriarchy has control of an entire government. Enough where that model is being fractured and carried on by women who are controlling their own government, doing their own thing. OnlyFans is not a matriarchal option. Okay, that's not what matriarchs is supposed to be involved in. Sexy Red is not a viable aspect of matriarchy. Neither is Cardi B. Neither is Jasmine Crockett. Neither is any of these slaves that these women putting out to you. Your man Ben Shapiro came out the other day and said what I've said in the Salisbury State. He said Harriet Tubman was a delusion that was created by the small hats. Rosa Parks was created by the small hats. Fannie Lou Hamer's connected by this. All of these chicks was run by the small hats. They all psychological operations. So get these 2 books as well as the Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Adam Smith, aka Adam Weishaupt. They allegedly was the same person. Yeah, the Houthis is hit. They getting hit from Yemen. They getting hit from Iran. They getting hit from Lebanon, all at once. So in the middle right here is where they're what they say is basically going to happen. Iran hits all the Gulf oil fields. Oil prices skyrocket. Blackouts in Africa. U.S. sends 3 aircraft carriers. You can read the rest. But this is allegedly where it all goes off the rail. Anybody have any questions? There was so much more I wanted to get to, but I might have to start doing these like more. I had these maps. Brother Santiago Bay from class sent me these great maps, but I ain't had time to get into them and try to show them next week. Yeah, all of these people, Morse, all of these people is on the tape. None of these people got their own situations popping, and they all under somebody else's jurisdiction. Donnie, none of these niggas is running anything. The small hats that's running the blue state, they like I said, their people are literally living in holes right now, in caves. They back to living in underground caves, Morse. Moors, and they want you to believe that they're gonna create the nuclear winter so that way you gotta go to the cave too. Nope. Nope. I told you. Create the alternative reality. Make videos, stories, movies, novels, whatever you gotta do. Show it to as many people as possible. Have nights where everybody create their own version of the New World movie and how these niggas is falling and crashing and paying for all of the children that they done raped and ate. With AI, you can do it now. Make that shit as real as possible. Watch it over and over. Share it over. Right? What's going to happen? It pretty soon. That's the reality. That will be the reality. We've seen it happen, Morse. It's already happened. All we gotta do is see it. Look, this was one of the rooms in Pablo Escobar crib. Like, this was one of the rooms in this nigga Escobar crib. Real quick, let me show you. On the left. Excuse me, on the right. Look, this was in his crib. You understand? You understand? These are the original people. These are our ancestors. This is who we come from, Moors. Here in America, in the Americas, us. For somebody to say there were no Moors in America, and it was like, it's crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy to say that there was none. Like, there was none. They only came after this point, and they was here with this. Like, okay, cool. Let's go with that. How does that change babies being eaten right now, nigga? How are we gonna stop that, nigga? How are we gonna do that? That's what I want to know. Okay? How is that gonna help me get rid of these pedophiles, nigga? That's what I want to know. Because the Moors that's here today, right, at least the ones I know, is striving to stop all of that. So I don't give a damn what the dirty ones that got us here is doing. The ones that's here today is clean enough to know who the dirty ones was and is willing to do what they got to do today to stop all that shit. So if all you want to do is constantly tell me what I'm not or what I shouldn't be doing, but you don't got no plan to do nothing else, then you the enemy, nigga. You're the dirty Moor today. Whether you are Indian, whether you are Mason, whether you are Muslim, whether you whatever, you're the dirty Moor today, nigga. Because you don't have nothing to say and nothing to contribute to the present reality that we can actually do to get up out of this, so we don't have to repeat what those dirty Moors did. So stop being a problem and start thinking about a solution to it, nigga. I bet you won't. Because you can't. Because these niggas don't look beyond their own choices. And their choice is to be right. More than to be right, exact, and correct in their actions, words, and deeds today. Anybody have any other questions? This is what they want us to always be associated with. Not this on screen. This is what I'm going to show you right now. This is how they created and broke down the males, especially the original man. See the movies that they forced these niggas to be in? Judas and the Black Messiah. Bait, right? Traitor, right? Enemy of the state. See this? All these niggas is a part of the problem. All of these niggas are agents. I told you, you can never trust an actor because they get paid to lie to you every hour of the day. And most of these actors is inverted niggas anyway. Most of these niggas is the opposite of what they appear to be. And like I said, if they are doing movies with pedophiles, with cannibals, right? Then that means they're down with them. More down with them than down with you. So I say down with all of them. Anybody have any other questions? On your left is a painting of Toussaint L'Ouverture. On your right is the ancient terracotta statue of the Moors going all the way back to 35,000 years ago. You can get this in the book Unexplained Faces in Ancient America by Alexander von Wuthenau. Oh, the question on the floor was, did the small hats write the Quran and that's why we have our own version? Yes. Yes, they did. Matter of fact, I found this the other day too, just online surfing. It was talking about Roosevelt, President Roosevelt. And what it say? It said, today, the president radiates even more health and vigor than usual. He has spent the last 5 days pounding through the Virginia forest in search of wild turkey. His stiff hair shines. His complexion is ruddy brown, and his body exudes a clean scent of cologne. That's a direct quote about President Roosevelt, aka Booker T. Washington. More decoys playing the role. Let me get this real quick. Hold up. One of the oldest fragments of Quran was found in Birmingham University. How they get it? Look. Look. Birmingham, look. Then they retranslated it. Look. Quran manuscript discovered in England could be over 1,400 years old. What? What? How they discover the Quran in England? Word? Yes, written in England. Or rewritten in England. Yep. So read more into that. But yeah, more. Look, several notable English translations of the Quran been produced in or for the UK in modern readability, such as MAS Abdel Halim's translation published by Oxford Press, The Majestic Quran. Historic English translations also originated in London, including George Sale's version in 1734. Okay? Remember, Oxford University is older than the so-called Aztec Empire. So again, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is why they be wilding. Yes, there are over 150 English translations of the Quran available, ranging from modern, easy to read versions to classical scholarly interpretations. The original Arabic text is considered the definitive word of God in Islam. These translations serve to explain the meaning of English speaking audiences. But they found the oldest Quran in England, in Birmingham University. And the original translations, as we just heard or read, you can look this up yourself, was done in 1734, right? At Oxford University. So this is why we Moors are Muslims and why we have our own thing going. Because we can't just be going by with these pale Arabs who are all basically, if not anything, they all small hats. They all small hats, bro. Remember that. They all look the same. Why you think you go to Turkey, the Turks look like Mexicans, right? The Arabs look like Persians. The Persians look like, you see what I'm saying? They all mixed up because in the end they all from the Basque region. They redistributed these people and turned them into something else and then gave them new histories once they came here. This is what they do. This is what they've been doing, Moors. Flipping and bouncing, taking people from one place, calling them something else, killing everybody that remember who and what they really were. So yeah, before we go, make sure you get these books too. We have to create the future we want to be and stop letting them play in our face. It's obvious that this nigga Palm Beach Pete is damn Epstein. It's obvious. It's obvious. So I'm not gonna go back and forth with anybody saying that it's different. I just assume that anybody that says that it's not that is probably down with it. That's what you got to start looking at it. Stop debating these people. Practice the indifference. That's where the power is. Yeah, get these books as well. So yeah, so thank you guys again for coming through. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to go to www.aseertheducateers.com. You know what I'm saying? Check out all of the stuff I got up there. If you haven't also already, please subscribe to the A.app, up to date Old Moorish info, as well as a lot of other stuff I strive to get up on there. Eventually, I'm going to start getting around to doing the lives on there too. So thank you everybody for tuning in and being down, subscribing. Definitely check that out if you haven't already on the www.aseertheducateers.com. I got the books up there so you can check those out. Also, if you haven't already, please check out CordobaOrganics.com. That's the move. If anybody would like to donate, you could also do so here at Morally Correct Mediums via Cash App. If you feel so inclined, I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube page. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, other than that, let's do what we've been doing, Moors. Staying ahead of the game, staying ahead of the curve, and doing what's right more than what's convenient. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, we all we got. We surrounded. We the only people that's preyed on by everybody else, including our own. So the only way out is through. All right. So long live the empire. Islam to everybody. I greatly, again, appreciate the support. You can always hit me up at houseofel@hotmail.com. And yeah, Moors. Pax et amor, proconi malut laudibus, noblest mortis, magnus. Peace.